Hello and welcome back to the channel. Amazon Prime is being accused of buying praise for Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. How could this be? Well, let's get into this story. So first of all, let's cover how is Rings of Power doing? How are the ratings doing? Not looking too great. It seems like the average audience score, the audience overwhelmingly does not like this. Now, of course, Amazon wants you to think that these people are all just trolls, okay? But, for some time, Amazon has said that they were going to have a faithful adaptation, that they were going to, do the right thing here. And they convinced it, well, they didn't convince anybody, but they assured everyone that this was not going to be a show that was laden with any kind of modern politics or identity politics or any kind of third-rate feminism. And I say it's third-rate feminism instead of third-wave feminism because, anytime you have to take an entire gender and take all the males and make them look incompetent and make them look weak and make them look like buffoons so that you can make the women look good. Or you do something like, make the women just so OP that even your own media calls them a Karen and a Mary Sue, like Grace Randolph did. Well, it doesn't look good, and it looks like third-rate feminism then. But that is one of those things that they just love to do. And I think that's the biggest indictment of this. We're not going to inject any woke narratives into this. They've already been woven into the show. And then we have this from Peter Jackson. Now, this was his approach to this, and let's just listen in real quick.
Did you have some kind of mechanism, in a sense, so that you could make sure that you were true to Tolkien?
Well, we didn't want to put any of our own, certainly in terms of the thematic material, we didn't want to put any of our own baggage. I mean, we had no interest in putting our messages into this movie, but we thought that we should honor Tolkien by putting his messages into it.
So there you have it right there. Peter Jackson saying, hey, we wanted to tell Tolkien's story. We didn't want to inject our own messages. But that is not what the Rings of Power is doing. That is not what Amazon is doing. And it's clear because you can see from things like this. Rings of Power showrunner addressed rumors that modern politics will influence the show. And there's tons of these articles out there. But then you have this article here. Rings of Power actress Nazanin Boniadi says her character is an activist. Those two things don't mesh with each other. But let's get into the main story here. And that is that the Prime Video is now accused of buying praise for Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. Prime Video and Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power is being accused of buying praise from Tolkien and the Lord of the Rings YouTubers and influencers after the show has received positive critical reviews despite having massive negative reviews from viewers. Not only has the show seen massive negative reviews from viewers, but Amazon announced a change to the review system that confirmed by Prime Video representative to Variety, who reported that Prime Video quietly introduced a 72-hour delay for all user reviews posted to Prime Video. But as we saw, that 72-hour delay turned into almost a week delay. And now they still have been struggling and trying to stem the tide of these negative reviews. And they do that by hiding reviews or by dismissing reviews as review degrading. Now, keep in mind that, I don't think this is a 1-star, but I don't think it's a 10-star project either. It's neither of those things. It's probably somewhere in the middle here. This rating of a 6 maybe to a 7 seems like probably a correct rating for this show. The actual average is a 6.3. But for some reason, the media will always call out this 1-star reviews as review brigading, and they will never call out the 10-star reviews as review brigading. And up until now, Amazon has actually been hiding all the negative reviews. Now they've finally given in and allowed negative reviews to be shown here. So we can finally now see the 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, and 5-star reviews. But it has taken over a week before they would allow anyone to see this. So finally, they've given in. Finally, they've surrendered. But getting back to the main story, YouTuber George the Giant Slayer posits that Prime Video has been buying praise from Tolkien and Lord of the Rings YouTubers. He first points to the numerous influencers Prime Video used in an attempt to hype the show when they flew them to a castle in Majorca to view the first official trailer for the series. Next, George the Giant Slayer points to numerous influencers repeating the same exact talking points after that meeting with showrunners Patrick McKay and J.D. Payne at an event in London. And you saw this. You saw them seeking these influencers who, some of them had never done any content on Lord of the Rings before, but they had videos on YouTube. And then they obviously sought them out and wanted them to come and be wined and dined, and then gave them a bunch of talking points. And that's why when you see these videos, you see that every single one of these videos looked very similar. They all had similar talking points. The people used similar terms, and they all said similar things in each of the different videos. It was very interesting to watch these videos that were targeted at different countries all use the similar phrasing, similar words, similar talking points. However, the most damning evidence comes from YouTuber Hello Future Me, who polled his subscribers back in August asking whether he should take the sponsorship from Amazon for a video on The Lord of the Rings of Power, when it premieres. YouTuber asked, "How do you feel about me taking a sponsorship from Amazon for my video on Rings of Power when it premieres? If they don't get any say in what I say, I'm conflicted. It's free money for a video I was going to do anyway, but I really don't want to be seen as an Amazon shill at all." He followed up the post by sharing an email he sent to Amazon, which told Amazon, quote, "Amazon has no veto power over what I say in regards to commentary. This will actually make the video more authentic and make my audience more likely to trust my thoughts on the show." Hello Future Me notes that after he sent this email, Prime Video ghosted him. Lol, Amazon ghosted me as soon as I said that they couldn't pay me to control what I say about Rings of Power. Not a good look. I'm genuinely excited for House of the Dragon though. George the Giant Slayer also commented on this revelation saying, "Trust is hard earned, but once you lose it, it almost never comes back. This is not a good look for Amazon Prime Rings of Power." And they have repeatedly broken the trust. They have repeatedly said they weren't going to do things and then gone back and changed their mind. They've gaslit us all on saying things like, "Oh, well, Harfoots are not Hobbit." They turn around and say, "We're not going to inject modern politics." And then one of the characters talks about how their character is an activist. He continued, "And that's why over the last few weeks, you're getting this entire avalanche, this cataclysm of articles that are coming out and attacking not only the Fellowship, not only all the fans, but they're attacking the professor. They're calling him a racist." He then closed out his video by saying, "They're bleeding inside. They are losing because if they are truly winning, you don't care what anyone says. You're like, hey, you don't like it? Great. You think it's butchered? Wonderful. When you're winning, you know it, and you don't need affirmation from anyone else. So when you see a company or an individual where they want to pay you to sing their praises of their show or of their product, you know it's a disaster." He then concludes, "If Rings of Power were a car, it'd be a lemon, and we'd all under state law be able to return it back to the manufacturer for a full refund." George the Giant Slayer's accusations are also backed up by a report from Business Insider, claiming that Amazon will find a way, regardless of actual viewership, to sound the trumpets of victory. The reason why it's going to succeed is because the executives at Amazon need it to succeed. If it doesn't succeed, there's going to be a big question from Amazon's CEO, Andy Jassy, and the board. If we can't take this piece of IP and make it successful, why is Amazon Studios even here? It has to succeed. There's no option. Sci-Fi Wire's Danny Roth admitted back in 2019 that the Access media creates fake positivity in order to maintain its access. He explained, "Here's the actual reality. Here's where we actually are in the industry. If you want to talk about, quote, access media, every single person that wants to have access to things early, that wants to get access to things so that traffic is drawn to their site, will on occasion, everybody at this podcast, everybody in our industry occasionally has to play softball, occasionally has to look the other way a little bit. Everybody has to do it." And this is what we've seen. We've seen all of these articles that by critics are overwhelmingly, seemingly positive. When you read the headlines, most of them are very positive. And when you read most of the article is talking about how great the show is. Or they tell you how great the show is, but they don't actually provide evidence of why they think the show is great. They just recap some stuff from the show. But then inevitably, in every single one of these articles, there's a tiny, tiny paragraph towards the end or hidden in the middle somewhere that talks about the issues with this show, how it's boring or how it's a little slow, and how you might need a primer. In other words, you have no idea what's going on, and as a viewer, you shouldn't have to read something else or watch something else to know what's happening in the show. But that is indeed what they are saying. Well, in the sense that I hated a movie, but I won't say that I hated a movie or an actor behaved a sort of way, and you don't want to put it out there that this happened. Horn chimes in, right, because you might not get the next review. And that was from 2019, them admitting that they do this. So we know this happens. We know that the Access Media creates basically like tons of shill articles. I've called them out already. You've seen my videos on that. You've seen videos from other YouTubers on this. So what do you think in the comments below of this new revelation that Amazon has basically tried to buy their way into the hearts of reviewers and get positive reviews? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. In the meantime, if you want to continue to smash the narrative, then smash the like, subscribe, and share buttons, and I will see you in the next video. Have a great day.